Welcome! This is the first video of my RP-1 playthrough. I thought the first few missions would be too boring to create dedicated videos of them, but starting now the missions become more complex and interesting. So in this video we are going to a lunar orbit for the first time. For those of you who do not know what RP-1 is, let me try to explain it as short as possible. RP-1 stands for Realistic Progression 1. It builds on top of the Real Solar System mod and the Realism Overall mod, and many others. It aims to create a highly realistic experience and be as historically correct as possible. If you want to have a more detailed introduction to RP-1, please let me know in the comments and I can do a dedicated video on it. The engines in RP-1 have a significant ramp-up time, so we ignite the engines first, wait until they are at full thrust, and only then do we disengage the launch clamps. The launch clamps, by the way, are mandatory in RP-1. The engines cannot ignite without them, and also, when there are long waiting periods, the fuel would boil off without constant cooling via the launch clamps. I am super sorry, but somehow the recording of the launch and the ascent is like a slideshow. It's not like how many FPS do you have, how many frames per second, but how many seconds per frame. I have no idea what happened there. So later in the video it was normal again, but yeah, sorry, you get a kind of a slideshow for now. 3, 2, 1, ignition. We are using MacJab's Prime Vector Guidance Ascent Autopilot to the ascent for us. This is also the first time I'm using BlackRag's volumetric clouds in RP-1. Don't the clouds look just amazing? Let's enjoy the visuals while we ascend to low Earth orbit. We made it to low Earth orbit, and since we had a little extra delta V in the first stage, we raised our apoapsis to 20,000 kilometers already. That should reduce the amount of delta V required for trans-lunar injection a fair bit. Trans-lunar injection, let's go! For our travel to the moon, we don't need the previous stage, so let's get rid of it. And put the avionics of the last stage into hibernation until we reach the moon. And here we are in the sphere of influence of the moon. Unfortunately, as always, the circularization maneuver will happen on the dark side, so there's not so much to see, sorry, but let's do it. Welcome to our final destination, lunar orbit. We have a nice circular orbit at around 3000 kilometers. Make yourself comfortable and enjoy some views while we orbit the moon. When you achieve big milestones in RP-1, you always get such a nice newspaper graphic documentation of it. And also comparing it with the actual historical equivalent. Super cool feature. I hope you enjoyed RP-1, because you're going to see some more footage of my future RP-1 missions here. Let me know what you think in the comments. Bye bye!